Hey, good day, everyone. So, by the way, just a disclaimer: there's a lot of background noise where I am right now, and if you're hearing any noise, any trucks, people banging doors and stuff like that, yeah, I'm in a busy area now, so I really apologize for that, but I can't control it. As well as I know it has been a long time since I've uploaded, and I apologize for that too. But this video now, I've been working on it for quite some time, and I believe it's very prophetic. And the reason for this video that you're watching now, it will be on another channel, right? It will not be on my main channel where my face is shown. Because, and please do not actually share or do not upload this video. You can share it with others through whichever means, but let them know not to upload this video. Because if you upload this video, right, and the persons end up knowing who was the person that was speaking in the video, not only will they try and kill me and remove my content like what they're trying to do with the YouTubers, censoring them, they will also delete and remove the video that you have uploaded, which was originally mine. So this video is very powerful, and it's going to unveil a lot of prophetic symbolism that Revelation speaks of, that Daniel was speaking of, and everything that the whole book of Revelation is enshrouded in. You know, the Holy Ghost has given me the understanding to it. And let me just start now, because it's a lot to unpack. So, alright, Revelation chapter 9. You're seeing the screen now, my laptop. This is the screen on my laptop. And it is showing a device that North Korea is on its way on achieving to build, successfully finish. And this device is, they're calling it the artificial sun, which the purpose for it, they're saying they want to replace the real sun. And the thing is, bear this in mind: if this thing were to explode, it would cause an international, a global nuclear threat. It would cause a global catastrophe, right? That it's that powerful. Now, Revelation chapter 9 says, "And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit." Now, the fifth angel that's mentioned here, he's sounding his trumpet. This is in the process of the seven trumpets, and the star that fell from heaven unto the earth, it did not fall. Notice the context. It did not fall unto the earth into a bottomless pit. It fell, the star fell onto the earth with a key to open a bottomless pit. So this is the thing now, before that this bottomless pit was closed. It was closed because why would it need a key to be opened? So let's continue. "And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit." Now, I'm sure you all are familiar of nuclear havocs and nuclear explosions that have occurred. For instance, the one in Japan that happened many years ago, which was very fatal and killed a lot of persons. Even nuclear wars, right? Where missiles or a lot of ballistics throughout the different wars, the Cold War, the Korean War, they use certain weaponry, right? that could cause this type of damage. But the thing is, it wasn't wide scale like what is being mentioned here. Because it says that the star that fell, it fell from heaven unto the earth. Right? And then it says that now with the bottomless pit, it having the key to it, right? Which is this nuclear reactor. It opened this nuclear reactor, and now there arose a smoke out of the pit. That smoke out of the pit is the actual manifestation of the explosion. And that smoke and the sun and the air were darkened by the reason of the smoke of the pit. Because of that chemical reaction, the whole atmosphere, the whole sky, the whole surrounding will be masked in a thick smoke, in a thick smoke, dense, in a dense, the smoky area, basically. So, this is what it's saying here. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power as the scorpions of the earth have power. Now, with this being the bottomless pit, and even if you don't agree with me, at least watch the video till the end, and then you can make your conclusion after. Alright, but bear with me. So, the locusts, let me look back. I'm very sorry for that person, for the noise in the background. I'm very sorry. But I can't help it. Okay, let me look for the locust. A picture of a locust. Okay. This is a picture of locusts swarming in a field. This is a picture of a swarm of locusts, a plague of locusts, the same plague that actually spread in Egypt but did not affect the children of Israel. Okay? So, these locusts now that is being mentioned in Revelation chapter 9 are in Revelation chapter 9 verse 3 rather are soldiers. How could the soldiers be related to locusts? Well, if you look at this picture now and comparing it and even looking at others, just comparing it, hoping that you're seeing this properly. These are the locusts that John was seeing. But in his time, he did not know that you don't call these people locusts, you call them soldiers. But he was using the words that was available to him in that time that he best known, that he could have best described what he was seeing in the vision with. Now, it says that, and unto them was given power as the scorpions of the earth have power. What power was it given? And it was commanded them that they should hurt not the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. So, this is why it could not be a literal locust. Because we know, even secular people will agree to this. Locusts also cause vegetative destruction. They will consume vegetation. So how can this specific locust being described here not harm any green thing? You see, interpretation is needed here. And apparently these soldiers now that came out of the whole chaos, that smoke from the eruption, from the actual explosion of that nuclear reactor that would have been on a wide scale, which was the bottomless pit, that star that the devil opened when he fell on the earth. Those soldiers were given the mandate to only persecute persons that will not have the seal of God. Now, it says, and to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. So, I want you guys to watch this quick video. So, with that being said, I'm sorry I had to cut for a second. It's a very nice era that I'm in. Let's watch this quick video for a second, just to confirm what I'm trying to say here. Let me go back all the way to the beginning. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
After 5 months detention in North Korea, American Jeffrey Fowl...
You heard that? After 5 months detention in North Korea. After 5 months detention in North Korea. And what does it say here? Revelation chapter 9 verse 5. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. This video is very prophetic. Right now as I'm speaking, persons are calling me on my phone. Persons are around me, creating a bunch of distractions right now. I swear, if you just bear on and watch this video, you will be blessed. You will be blessed indeed. Because this is an indicator that the devil is trying to distract me. But this is what it's saying. These soldiers, they will be given the power to torment men 5 months. And their torment was similar to that of the torment of a scorpion when it striketh a man. And in those days continuing, shall men seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Now, in continuing, this is let me do this one first actually. Human Rights Watch says North Korean justice system treats people worse than animals. Right? Whole bunch of distractions, people. Just bear with me. North Korea has been accused of widespread rights abuse by the United Nations and other critics. Is a closed country and little is known about its criminal justice system. Now let's read a little claims and case studies. Now, it says here that a lady, a former trader in her 50s, who fled North Korea in 2015, said she had been raped by her interrogator at a detention center. Another police officer sexually assaulted her by touching her underneath her clothes while interrogating her. Kim added, but said she had been powerless to resist. Why was she powerless to resist? Because persons there, if they resist the law and if they resist the Korean government, they will be killed instantly. The report called on Pyongyang to end endemic torture and cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment in detention, and urged South Korea and the others to privately and publicly pressure the North Korean government. Alright, right here now it says, the country already stands accused by the UN of systematic, widespread, and gross human rights violations that range from torture, extrajudicial killings, to running prison camps. Now this is what someone else was saying. This was a response from someone else, or should I say a statement. If I or others moved in the cell, the guards would order me or all the cellmates to extend our hands through the cell bars and would step on them repeatedly with their boots. Now, and they said some of the punishments range from hitting, beating with sticks, leather belts, and this is going right into what I'm about to say now. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the face of men. And they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. A lot of symbolism. But check this out. It says that, and the shapes of the locusts, which are the soldiers, were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and their heads were as it were crowns like gold. Look at this picture. This is a photograph of the military in North Korea. Was it this possibly what John was seeing? The heads like, the crowns like gold? The locusts like horses prepared unto battle, the soldiers prepared unto battle, with the faces of men. So we know that these locusts had human characteristics, which could not be literal. And they had hair as the hair of women. These are women now, also in the military. Women also participate in the military with the men, biracial military activities. And it also says there, their teeth were as teeth of lions. Now, I'd like to show you something interesting here. If you actually look at some of the weaponry, right, of this country, if you look at some of the weaponry, look, you know, a lion, you see these, the circles around it. This is the teeth of the lion. These things are the teeth of the lion. The teeth of the lion. But a lion's teeth, thinking about it from a logical view, that is the death sentence for its victim. So you know that that's the most deadly part of the lion, is teeth. Very sharp, very damaging. Now look at these things. It's very pointed. And when it reaches the victim, when it reaches its point, it will unload much damage that cannot recover. You can't recover from that. Now, in continuing, it says, and they had breastplates, as it were breastplates of iron. And the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle. I'd like to show you another picture with them. The marching is their wings. When they are marching on the battlefield, when they are marching on the orders of Kim Jong Un, their leader, their hero, their deity, as they claim, it says that the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots, of many horses running to battle. Now, if you have so many soldiers, right, walking and marching, then it would create a similar sound to that of horse hoofs clapping on the ground when they are running, prepared unto battle. Now, it says, and they had breastplates, as breastplates of iron, and the iron symbolizes these things, what they're actually guarded with. They are suited with these things. It's right around. You see, this is the breastplate. It's like slung around their shoulders. So it's not an accessory that's not associated with or not with them. It's on them. That's the breastplate of iron. So you know this has to be a symbolic revelation. Now it also says, and they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt them 5 months. Remember when we read a while ago that some of the punishments where persons that would have been detained by the North Korean government they would be tortured, beaten, also whipped with belts. So these belts, as it's being described here, are the tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails. Now, you know, in the Caribbean, when your parents is annoyed with you, when they were once children, you know, you would get a spanking, and you know that spanking with a belt, it hurts, it stings, like the sting of a scorpion. Continuing, and they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue at his name Apollyon. One woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter. And the 6th angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar which is before God, saying to the 6th angel which had the trumpet, loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. Skipping to verse 16. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. If you're still sticking around, watch this. Let me find it again. Watch this. Kim's commandos meet North Korea's 200,000 elite soldiers. So, Revelation chapter 9 is saying in verse 16, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. Just 1,000 off. And I heard the number of them. Now, isn't that a coincidence, people? Alright? Let's continue, because I have much more evidence and proof that this is prophecy being fulfilled, even more than this, if you stay tuned. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and of jacinth. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. Let me go back to that picture above. When you look at this tank, would you say that the head of the lion and out of the lion's mouth, that will be issuing smoke, fire and brimstone? Would it be possible to say that it could be the actual muzzle of this tank? That when the person controlling the tank and releasing the missile, when it hits its target, it will cause not only damage, but an explosion. I hope you guys are really understand what I'm saying now. It's saying that listen, let me even break it down even simpler. It said that John said, and I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone. What are the breastplates of fire, jacinth, and brimstone? The grenade straps. When you play Call of Duty, when persons would have played that game back then, not anymore, you know that your character would have grenade straps, and these things cause damage, cause explosions, which cause smoke, which is the element or the byproduct of fire. Alright? The breastplates of fire or a grenade strap and of jacinth and brimstone, And now it says the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions. So we're not talking about the horses anymore, the horsemen anymore. Right? We're talking about the head of the horse now. So we're talking about the vehicle that the person who's sitting on. We're talking about that thing. It's saying that the head of the horse, and the head of it was as the head of lions, and out of the mouth issued fire, smoke, and brimstone. This is the mouth of the lion. By these three was the third part of men killed by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouth, and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. Now, you see, a tank not only has the missile part of it, where the muzzle shoots the missile through this part. You're seeing this part, the turret, and there's normally another man operating that and shooting enemies from behind. Could that be the serpent? Could that be the tail? Where John was describing that for their power is in their mouth and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. That is very, very interesting to know and think about. So, in even going further, that's basically what I understood from that, based on what the Holy Spirit gave me to understood from that. And now I'll be going into Daniel. There's much more to get from Revelation, but I want to go into Daniel as well, because they're both parallels. They're both parallel to each other. It says, then I, in Daniel chapter 7 verse 19, then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron. Revelations chapter 9. I'm telling you, in Daniel and John's time, the visions that they were seeing, they would have to describe it with the words that they knew best to describe it with. They wouldn't have known what a missile is, what an AK-47 is. So they were using the words that they had in their vocabulary at the best of their ability to interpret the vision. Now, it says here, Revelation chapter 9, verses 8. And their teeth were as the teeth of lions. But Daniel is saying that whose teeth were of iron and his nails of brass. Whose things are these? The fourth kingdom, which is the fourth beast. This is a nation, which will be the last nation, he says, and in the latter times. This beast devoured, break in pieces, and stamped the residue of the earth. The residue is the surrounding nations that were always suppressed, that will be suppressed and broken through in the latter days. Now, in care about that, everyone, as I said, the devil is trying to distract me, and he's putting all effort so this video cannot be shared and made publicized. But in continuing, right, as I was mentioning before, that Kim Jong Un, he is revered as a deity, and he also has certain laws that are contrary to the word of God, especially with persons being persecuted for their faith and believe in Jesus Christ. So let me show you something quickly concerning what I'm saying. Kim Jong Un being seen as a God. Are you seeing all of these things? Yes, let me click one of these links. It's a lot of material, man. We read this instead. The Kim's dynasty cult of personality leaves no room for any independent religion or belief. After decades of persecution, the percentage of the North Korean population affiliated with a religion plummeted from approximately 24% in 1950 to a mere 0.16% in 2002. Right? The only houses of worship in North Korea are state-sponsored by venues tightly controlled by the regime and available exclusive to citizens deemed loyal. After decades of persecution, the percentage of the North Korean population, I think I read that already, or they just mentioned that twice. But they said anyone else caught practicing their religious beliefs or possessing religious texts risk arrest, torture, or even execution. So it says in Exodus 20 verse 13, thou shalt have no other gods before me. In Exodus 20 verses 14. Whoa, made a mistake there, error. In Exodus 20 verses 13, thou shalt not kill. He is clearly legalizing killing, but it only is allowed when it pertains to religious persons, especially Christians, right? And especially the first commandment, thou shalt have no other gods before me. The first shall not. All these things are being disregarded, and this is the spirit of lawlessness at work, people. So going ahead now back to Daniel chapter 7 verses 21. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. And the 10 horns out of his kingdom are 10 kings that shall rise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. When you actually look at North Korea as a sovereign state and a superpower, North Korea is a threat to the US. It is a threat to Japan. And right now, ties with North Korea and South Korea are not pacified. As in, they are always on the brink of another war, just as the original Korean War. They are always on the brink of these things. So, these 3 kings, the Holy Spirit tells me that these 3 kings are those 3 countries, these 3 nations. And these kings that will be in these nations will be the president of these 3 nations. South Korea, Japan, and South Korea, Japan, as well as the United States of America. Right? I told you it's a lot to unpack. And when the Spirit moves, sometimes you become so, it is so overwhelming. But let's just try and continue and finish this. In Daniel chapter 11 verses 20, it says, then shall stand up in his estate a raiser of taxes in the glory of the kingdom, but within few days he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle. So when if you actually search around the circumstances around the death of Kim Jong Un's father, Kim Il-un, or whatever, Kim Il-sung, right? This was his grandfather, just to be correct. Bring up back his death. Very sorry about that. It says here that he died due to a heart attack, a sudden heart attack. And it says in Daniel chapter 11 verse 20 that this person in the estate that will raise taxes, which Kim Il-sung, he was the main reason why a lot of persons in North Korea, a lot of the population there suffered economically, because he wanted to make the state more sovereign and more powerful. A lot of this is what these Eastern countries do, and these Eastern superpowers do. They always export more than importing, and suffering the persons within that country from starvation, because they are not able to access any food and any crops. All of these things are strictly controlled by the government or the state, and are used for economic purposes and for basically the state's own profit. And it says that this person, within a few days, he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle. Right? And it says here that he died from a sudden heart attack. What a coincidence. Now moving on to Daniel chapter 11 verses 21. And in his estate shall stand up a vile person, to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom. But he shall come in peaceably, and obtain the kingdom by flatteries. And with the arms of a flood shall they be overflown from before him, and shall be broken. Yea, also the prince of the covenant, the prince or the heir of the covenant. That's what he's saying. Now this prince was Kim Jong Nam. And what was the circumstances around his death? Because it's saying here apparently that the arms of a flood shall they be overflown from before him, and shall be broken, yea, also the prince of the covenant. So that line, that actual royal claim to the throne, it would have been taken away from the prince, from that dynasty, that dynasty which is the Kim dynasty. Now look in here, it says Kim Jong-nam, the half-brother of North Korean leader Kim Jong Un, was assassinated on the 23rd of February 2017 when he was attacked with a VX nerve agent at Kuala Lumpur International Airport. Kim was the eldest son of Kim Jong-il. And there's this tradition where it's the eldest son that, even if there's a other son, it's the eldest son that succeeds the other, that succeeds the father to become the actual king. Okay, alright, that still isn't making sense, that still is resonating. Let's continue. And after the league made with him, he shall work deceitfully, for he shall come up and shall become strong with a small people, and he shall stir up his power and his courage against the king of the south with a great army. And the king of the south shall be stirred up to battle with a very great and mighty army, but he shall not stand. So it's saying that he will be stirred up and he will challenge the king of the south, which is South Korea. And the South Korean king at that time would challenge him back, but would not withstand the Korean War. North Korea invaded South Korea. Notice here it says, I'm not sure if you're seeing it. But it's saying that North Korea invaded South Korea following clashes. Let's continue reading. Along the border and rebellions in South Korea. North Korea was supported by China and the Soviet Union, while South Korea was supported by the United Nations. The fighting ended with an armistice. That armistice, let's go right to the next part. Let's go to the right to the next verse. It says here that in verses 27, and both these kings' heart shall be to do mischief, and they shall speak lies at one table, but it shall not prosper, for yet the end shall be at the time appointed. Right? And when you look up, and when you actually do some research on that armistice with North Korea and South Korea, there was no reconciliation. South Korea actually declined, refused from making peace with North Korea, and to this day they're still not on terms as to ending or pacifying the war. It says here, right here, that South Korea never signed the armistice agreement due to President Syngman Rhee's refusal to accept having failed to unify Korea by force. So this is the thing. All of these things are connected, and it has already been prophesied. Now, to prove to you, some of you are probably saying this doesn't make sense because the North King and the Southern King has nothing to do with these nations. It says in verse 30, for the ships of Shittim shall come against him, therefore he shall be grieved and return, and have indignation against the holy covenant. So shall he do, he shall even return and have intelligence with them that forsake the holy covenant. Now, Kittim, this is actually the real spelling. Right? In Hebrew, Kittim. It says Kittim. The whole island became known as Kittim. Right? See, it's mentioned in here where the word was mentioned in Daniel chapter 11 verse 30, which I just read. Okay? And look at what I'm about to show you now. It says here down below that while others, including the Worldwide Church of God, have suggested that Kittim became the progenitor of various Eastern Asian people. So I don't understand how persons are going to say that this Kittim or the Southern King has anything to do with Africa. It's speaking about Southern Eastern Asia. And the North King was the king back then of today's or modern day North Korea. Right? It says here though, this is the funny thing. It says, neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any God, for he shall magnify himself above all. But in his estate shall he honor the God of forces, and a God whom his fathers knew not, shall he honor with gold and silver and with precious stones and pleasant things. Now, what do they mean by the God of forces? The God of his doctrine. His doctrine and his military agenda. And I will actually type it in right now. This is the doctrine that Kim Jong Un expects everyone to follow in his country. Kim Jong Unism. Let's watch this short thing, this short video, and we'll be wrapping up. Put it closer. The God of forces. he will not regard the God of his fathers. He shall become strong with small people. This is the God King Jong Unism. Read into that. Could this man be the Antichrist, people? That's my question. I'm just really curious to know. Because these connections are very convincing. You see, the gods of his fathers, so his fathers also had gods as well. Man, this is all connected. These are his fathers, the previous men before his time that were doing the same thing, that were persecuting people as well, Christians as well. Now, I want to show you the part now where it says honoring with statues of gold and of silver. I'm not sure if it included that in this video, with the statues of him. But there is a lot of, if you actually in your own time are supposed to search it up, these golden statues, these stone statues of him. Right? Look at these statues. Look at these graven images, which is also a commandment in Exodus 20, which says, "Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, and to the third and fourth generation of them that hate me." Very sorry, realize it wasn't accurately viewing, but these are the statues, these are the mighty ones, you know, of bronze, gold, right? So this is of stone. I mean, come on, no one, after watching this and sharing it, but please do not upload it, just share it, because it will be removed. You cannot deny that this isn't convincing and that this man could potentially be the Antichrist or the man of sin.